This is Dusk Broadcast. Please pay close attention. An unclassified event has been reported in school zone. In This is Dusk Broadcast. Please pay close attention. An unclassified event has been reported in multiple school zones. In nearly every classroom across affected districts, there is one extra student. No one knows who they are. Teachers don't remember marking them present. Classmates can't recall when they're up, but they're always there. A face you don't quite recognize. A name no one can repeat. If you ask them where they live, they their own house, down to the smallest detail. And whenever someone tries to focus on them, truly look at them, their mind slips. Their face becomes vague. Your thoughts blur. You forget why you were even looking. This has happened enough times to raise official concern. If you suspect the presence of this individual in your class, follow these guidelines. First, do not sit next to them. If you find yourself seated beside them without remembering how you got there, turn to them and say, "Thank you for the offer, but I would like to go back to my own seat." No matter what happens, do not leave the seat without saying this. Second, do not try to write down what they look like. The paper will always end up blank. Third, never follow them after school. Several students who tried to do this have not returned home. If you attempt to count the number of students and consistently get one too many, you are not imagining it. If they ever speak to you and you can't recall what they said, apologize to them and excuse yourself to the restroom. Do not attempt to confront the individual. Do not draw attention to them. Dusk Broadcast signing off. Stay tuned. Stay safe. The following letter was received by the Office of Anomaly Safety on the morning resident or near the edges. The envelope was postmarked 3 days before it arrived. By the time it reached us, there's something wrong in our house. I don't know how to say it. It came a week ago, I think. It's hard to remember when exactly. I just know that one night it wasn't here, and the next night it was. It doesn't make sounds. It just stands there. Sometimes in the hallway, sometimes at the door of my room. I can't really look at it for long. My eyes slide away like I'm not supposed to see it. My mom and dad see it too, but they keep saying it's my brother. I don't have a brother. I've counted so many times. It was always the three of us, but now there are four. Nancy goes on to describe how her parents first noticed the figure one night near the living room. She said it stood by the family portrait, facing the wall, motionless. Her father thought it was an intruder, but when he tried to confront it, he couldn't seem to make out its face. Her parents both described a kind of pressure in the air, a heaviness that made them dizzy when they tried to focus. They got confused to the point where they thought it was just their imagination, but she could still see him, feel his presence. It convinced my parents that it was part of our family. Mom said maybe it's my brother, back from the hospital. I told her, I don't have one. She just looked confused. Then she said, "Nancy, don't be mean. You know he's sick." From that night on, the thing began to appear more frequently, always near doorways, cornerways. It never entered her room completely, but Nancy said she could feel it watching her as she slept. Her letter mentioned its stillness more than once. It doesn't blink. It doesn't even breathe right. Over the next several days, her parents began to act strangely. They started setting an extra plate at the dinner table. They began speaking to him without ever facing him. Her father even bought some clothes, saying he might need something to wear around the house again. When Nancy tried to tell her teacher, the school contacted her parents. Her mother explained that Nancy's brother had a disability that kept him from attending school and that she had been confused lately. After that, her parents stopped letting her out of the house alone. "I think it likes when they talk about it," she wrote. "Every time they call it my brother, it moves a little closer. It's learning how to smile. It's trying to look like us." Nancy began to notice subtle changes. Her parents' eyes looked duller. They They stopped eating together. They slept less. She said her mother had started sitting beside the night, staring blankly at the TV with it. Their neighborhood pets began to vanish. Nancy wrote that after the pets started disappearing, she tried to tell her neighbors what she thought was happening. She went door to door one afternoon, explaining that something had entered their home, something pretending to be her brother, but her parents followed close behind, smiling tightly, apologizing for her episodes. They told the neighbors Nancy had been under a lot of stress, that she was seeing things. One neighbor even offered to check in on her now and then, but when they came by the next morning, her mother told them Nancy wasn't feeling well and shouldn't have visitors for a while. From that point on, Nancy said the neighbors began to look at her differently. She wrote that the creature seemed to enjoy this. The behavior of the neighbors seemed strange at first, but after investigation, we found out that the Gray family had only moved into the town a few years ago, and they were known for living quietly and without much contact. They didn't attend local gatherings, neighbors, and were known mostly as polite but private. So when Nancy began to knock on doors, few truly knew what normal looked like for that family. Most assumed it was just a household issue, stress, illness, or isolation. And when the family stopped answering the door altogether, no one thought to question it. The creature seemed to understand this. The less attention the Greys drew, the safer it remained. It's possible that the anomaly was exploiting that very quiet.
Here you are.